Today's May 20th. Later today, Brian Chesky, founder of Airbnb, is going to step on stage and he's going to drop some new stuff for the summer release, right? Some of the stuff that we know is coming up. So this release will be the clearest signal yet that Airbnb is becoming a lifestyle platform spanning stays, hotels, services, and experiences, all increasingly stitched together by their rapidly developing AI rather than just search filters and your basic ranking. Stuff we're expecting to see or we know is already coming out. Easier listing creation and smarter host tools, essentially setting up your listing. They're making it even easier to get that listing going. I still not a fan of a lot of the things they have in place, like photo tour and all that. I hope as an operator myself, I hope the masses continue to use those things, because when we don't use those things, we can elevate beyond them very simply by sequencing our own photos. So, we can dive into that a different day. Secondly, is expansion of Airbnb services and experiences. Even simply, okay. The other day, I get a message from Airbnb, not as a host, but as just a consumer on my app. It says, "Hey, book a stay and get $20 off your Instacart order." Right? That's unique, right? I'm not booking the place to get $20 off of Instacart, right? Mm-hmm. But they're starting to integrate other factors in there to start saying, "Hey, we're bigger than just the stay now," right? Hotel products and strategy push, and one I really love here, and this is on two different articles. The increasing use of AI. This first article here is from rentalscaleup.com. And the one I'm talking about, the AI, which is this filter I really, really like right now. This one is from smartrentals.ai. How to optimize your listing for AI on Airbnb. If you go to Airbnb right now, the app or the desktop, and you go to enter a stay, you're going to look at a toolbar there. It's going to ask, where do you want to go? It's going to ask the dates. It's going to ask the number of guests. And now the fourth box is basically just type in what you want, right? You can say pickleball. You could say, "Hey, I'm looking for something within 200 yards or 200 meters of a trailhead, of a beach," whatever it is. It's using native language, and then it's going into the listings that exist in that market that have your bedroom count or guest count for those date ranges, and using that language, that native language, to pull up these properties. So say for like pickleball, you could type in pickleball, and if that listing doesn't say pickleball in the headline, but it talks about pickleball in the listing or has photos of pickleball, like a private court or access, guess what? Now that listing rockets the top of that search. This is not necessarily, basically what we're saying is now we can look at the listing beyond just our title, beyond just that first cover photo. And now that AI is starting to develop how to find your stay. And if you have a desirable listing, if you've got it set up in place and you're talking well in natural language about what your property has to offer, you're going to benefit on finding your target audience and helping your target audience find you.
So let me light into that a little bit on how that applies to how you decor your property, right? We've known that this has been coming for years. There's been talk of this. You've been seeing these search parameters be implemented on every major searching platform and searching engines, that it becomes a more conversational search. And the advancements of AI, even if you just look at like generating an image, just a year ago versus right now, it's infinitely grown and expanded because it learns from itself so quickly, right? So in the decor component of this, to your point, let's say that I'm in there and I'm like, well, I want to talk about a beach or a attraction or a amenity that's on the property, right? So amenities are one thing. You either have them or you don't, or you're near them or you aren't, or you're in a group share with amenities with other people in like a condo, apartment, or whatever type unit, right? Now, let's get past amenities and just get to attractions. A lot of people in this search are going to say, I want to be near the beach. I want romantic sunsets. I want they're talking about the vibe, and the AI prompts vibe, atmosphere, experience. So by leaning into your design choices and being able to say, hey, let's look at the top reasons that people are coming to these areas. Even if I'm, say, a house that's not on the beach, but I can decor my property and give myself these giant windows and views and things that the AI is going to scrape and say, this property has these views or these elements or these experiential dynamics that are being described by the consumer. And you're leaning into the top 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on number of rooms you have, iconic thematic elements, but doing it in a classy, upscale way. And then putting the right captions underneath those things, describing the experience. All of a sudden, when a guest talks about their rooms, their location, and their price point, and they add that now experiential element to the search, instead of just coming up where you might have come up at the number 50 based on rooms, location, and price, if your decor hits all the notes of the experience that they're trying to do, all of a sudden you're spring shot to the top of that search because you're aligning on all of their data points at a much higher level, also giving you the ability to even compete where someone says we're on the beach when you've got decor all about the beach in a fully immersive way, and then talking about that in your listing and showing that in your photos. Even though you might not be on the beach, because you have that fully immersive beach experience that you've created in an ecosystem or a room of the house, you have the beach vibe experience, even though you're not on the beach, allowing you as a house that's way down here off the beach to now be up here and considered, where all of a sudden the guest gets a choice. I could pay a little less and stay here, but still get the beach experience. And then they see, oh my gosh, look at that room. Look at that room. Look at that room. They get taken down this trail of narrative storytelling through the way that you've decored the property. All of a sudden you're competing because you're bringing the experience to the guest in your decor, even if you don't have the experience in the actual location of where you are. And that is why the way that you bring this to life and market it in this new ecosystem is a really big deal.
Another piece with that, and this is something that we harp on a great bit in Vodyssey, and why our methodology is getting a review rate of 85 to 90%. Basically, 8 to 9 out of 10 guests are leaving us a review. And you look at a lot of these big box managers that don't go through this process. They automate everything. It's not personalized, right? And they're like, oh, they're hovering at 10, 15, 20%. But now when the consumer, which is that guest, is Airbnb's customer, we're not their customer. We are their vendor. Vendors are easily replaceable. But the more of those reviews that you get mentioning the things about your property, cleanliness, communication, proximity, how easy it was to do ABCD, best place I've ever stayed, whatever it is, the more of that is, the more of that language gets attached to your listing, the easier, and the more that it's in there, the more times that's mentioned by those guests, the more the AI finds it. So part of what I'm saying as a consumer, I'm going to go to this place, I'm looking for whatever it is I'm looking for. I'm like, I want a clean unit. I want, communication. I want ease of access. I want proximity or no parking problems. The more in depth they prompt that system, the more that system is going to go find what it's looking for. Right. Yeah. And when we have, now you have a listing that's a 2-bedroom condo, right? And you don't have a lot to show. You got 800 square feet, 700 square feet. You got some pictures of amenities and whatever, blah, blah. I'm not a 20-bedroom place, right? But if I've got 150 5-star reviews all talking about these metrics and these things, and I have a consumer looking for a place like mine now, and all my other competitors have 30 reviews, 40 reviews, I have 110 more reasons for that AI to put me ahead of everybody else. Yeah. And it's so important to dial all that stuff in.
Review capital. That's what we refer to it as in office. If you're not, and again, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier of designing the widget as the business and not as just your own personal vacation. That does not mean that it's still not a lifestyle asset. You're still at a place you want to be in a house that you enjoy, but bringing it to life in a way that you're thinking about the business over your own personal choices at this point in the life cycle of that property. When you do that, you're creating review currency. And when you bring that online, one of my favorite reviews is the photos don't do it justice. You're going to find that as this AI prompting component becomes more prevalent in the search, as does AI searches on ChatGPT and Grok, whatever platform you like, we all are learning to ask questions in a much more specific way, where I might have read a couple of reviews and then I go back to the AI and I ask different. I want properties where people say that the photos don't do it justice. Like people are going to start picking up on
Right.
these weird ways to search, that the AI is going to scrape that review currency to figure out like, all right, that's a weird search. And then all of a sudden that's going to be a new part of the algorithm, right? We create the algorithm, but I will tell you that the algorithm also creates us, because I jokingly say all the time, because I do have a lot of kids, I feel like school shouldn't be what it has been for the last 200 years, because everything is different now. I feel like all school should be now is teaching my kids how to use and ask the right questions to technology. Because it's even at a point right now where we now rely. I just created some software for our company, and the software engineers that we work with all now brag about the fact that they can get 100 times work done infinitely faster because they are now using AI agents to help them create, right? At this point in time, even the creators are relying on the agents to help create faster, more efficiently, and execute at a higher level on every output that they're creating. So even the element of creation is now a derivative of using AI tools to create new things. So really, if you're not leaning into designs, amenities, locations, and surrounding yourself with the right marketing ecosystem that's going to generate that review capital, with the whole mindset that searching these things is going to evolve, and probably rather rapidly, into really interesting search parameters. That's one of the things that I love about the Vodyssey approach is we're constantly thinking ahead. And I feel like we're way ahead of the game on this new search dynamic.